It's been a while since my last video about Hi.com, in which I shared the few successes and unfortunately more frequent failures of the project since its inception in 2021. Since then, a lot has happened and it's time to provide you with an update about the project. But before we jump into that, let's get the usual disclaimer out of the way first. Everything I share in this video is my personal opinion and in no way financial or professional advice of any kind. You should always do your own research, consult certified professionals, draw your own conclusions, and make your own decisions. During my last video, Hi's token was trading at 0.29 cents and with that already 99.82% below its historical all-time high. In that video, which you can by the way check out by clicking on the card up here, I shared all of Hi's successes as well as all of their failures with you and asked the question if Hi is a great buy opportunity at such a low price or if it's time to leave the sinking ship altogether. Well, since then, Hi's token value has steadily declined further, as you can see on the graph here that shows Hi's all-time price development. And during the next couple of minutes, we are going to take a look at what changed since then and if there is any hope left. But before we get to see if there is still light at the end of the tunnel or if that light may just be a train on the way to hit all remaining Hi users, here's your reminder to like, subscribe and enable notifications so you don't miss out on future videos. And just like in my previous video about Hi, I'd like to point out that I'm still holding a decent amount of Hi tokens, even though they aren't worth remotely as much as they used to be. But despite that, I'm still going to do my best to provide you with an objective overview of what happened since my last video, which you really should check out if you haven't seen it so far to get the complete picture. That said, let's start with what appears on first glance to be the only positive development that happened since my last video about Hi.com. At the end of July 2023, Hi and Animoca Brands released statements about a $30 million investment into Hi by Animoca Brands. That sounded quite amazing and got quite a few people excited. However, looking at the details of that announcement made it clear that this likely wouldn't help increase Hi's token value for two simple reasons. First, although the investment eventually went through, the announcement back then mentioned that it was subject to agreement of definitive terms, and as such there was still a chance that the entire deal would fall through. And second, the investment in question was an equity investment, meaning that Animoca Brands bought themselves a probably huge share of the company that operates Hi, and not that Animoca Brands was going to buy any Hi tokens on the open market. The second point is very important because Animoca Brands owns or is a shareholder in a bunch of different crypto projects and as such, in my opinion, just invested into Hi to use the project and especially Hi's debit card and limited banking features to add value to their other projects and potentially increase their overall success this way without caring much about the success of Hi itself. To in quotes prove that point, we only have to take a look at all of Hi's news and promotions since then, and we'll notice that outside of honoring older partnerships like the one with Unstoppable Domains, the majority of offers and updates since the equity investment by Animoca Brands focused on projects that are either owned by Animoca Brands or are at least affiliated with projects Animoca Brand owns. A great example that proves this point as well is the fact that the team then decided to launch Spend with Sand, the official cryptocurrency of the Sandbox project, another Animoca Brands product, before implementing Spend with Hi as originally in quotes promised by them during their quite radical update at the end of May 2023. And even nowadays, we can see clear evidence that Animoca's investment in Hi is meant to increase the success and exposure of Animoca's other projects instead of trying to turn Hi itself into a successful project. When we look at Hi's staking offers, right now, Hi offers a higher interest rate to users that stake REF tokens, which are the official currency of yet another Animoca Brands crypto project, than it does for staking Hi's own token, indirectly suggesting users that it's more lucrative to invest money into REF instead of Hi. Not to mention that the moment HAI sold itself in parts to Animoca Brands, the original aspect of the roadmap that users should eventually govern the company by being able to vote on important decisions based on the amount of HAI tokens they hold became impossible to achieve as well. So while originally many perceived the Animoca investment announcement as a potential turnaround point, it's more than clear by now that it was just another nail in the coffin for HAI's long-term vision and the price development of HAI's own token. Besides that, HAI also surprisingly announced the launch of the HAI protocol Testnet in the middle of October 2023, their own blockchain that was planned since day one and should allow HAI to create and operate its own native HAI token outside of the existing HAI tokens on the Ethereum and Binance blockchain. While that appeared to be another piece of, if not great, then at least positive news, the official announcement already made it obvious that the team yet again planned to move forward with changes that would harm many, if not the majority of all existing HAI token holders. To quote directly from HAI's original announcement at the time, the new HAI dollar as the native token on the HAI protocol will be introduced through a fair launch. A significant portion will be allocated to holders of the existing HAI dollar tokens on the Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain, or old HAI dollars in quotes. HAI dollars will be airdropped to members who have staked old HAI dollars in Vault and earnings within the HAI app, or have old HAI dollars staked in one of the liquidity pool reward pools. Furthermore, a bonus pool of HAI will be allocated to early supporters of HAI. That means that according to the official announcement, there was originally no plan to grant all HAI holders the new HAI token, but only to those that had their HAI token locked up within the HAI ecosystem, ignoring the fact that users in many jurisdictions didn't even have the possibility to lock up their HAI tokens due to local regulations. And that there was no plan to allow any kind of bridge or conversion from existing HAI tokens on the Ethereum blockchain or Binance Smart Chain to the HAI token on the HAI protocol blockchain. Now that news obviously led to backlash from the user base and as so often forced the team to change course a bit and update their plans to also include existing HAI token holders holding the tokens in their own wallets. Moving on from this part of the progress, it took until the summer of 2024 until HAI finally introduced Spend with HAI, allowing users to pay with HAI tokens when using their HAI debit cards. Considering, however, that at that time the membership reward levels were already in quotes unobtainable and older users already lost their existing status month earlier if they weren't willing to again invest significant amounts into the project, that update, in my opinion, falls into the category too little too late. Besides all of that, I have to admit that I wasn't able to verify if the team made any progress with their own blockchain or the new token airdrop because HAI's official blog at resourceshai.com isn't available anymore, as you can see on the screenshot here, despite still being linked on the official HAI.com website. And even their help center at help.hai.com appears to be in quotes abandoned, considering that many articles contain links like the one you can see here to HAI's white paper that aren't working anymore either. As you can see, HAI's price development therefore isn't unjustified but simply the result of bad decisions that often were not in the interest of HAI's existing user base, and especially since the investment by Animoca Brands appeared to solely focus on making Animoca's projects more attractive instead of focusing on turning HAI into a competitive brand. At this point, it is my opinion that the only chance for HAI to recover would require Terence Kwok to step down and completely leave the company, including selling whatever equity he still holds, since every single decision that has been made since the inception of HAI can ultimately be traced back to him. But even then, it would also require that Animoca Brands either also sells their equity to a new investor that focuses on the development of HAI, or that they themselves start to care about HAI's success instead of looking at HAI as just another way to add value to their other projects. Both of those scenarios, however, appear highly unlikely to me, and so while HAI started out as an incredible promising project that could have been one of the biggest players on the markets by now in my opinion, it sadly turned into a failed endeavor that for many users, me included, in the end just resulted in an almost 100% loss of investment, with little to no hope left that the project will improve at all in the future. Despite that, or maybe because of the almost 100% decline, I'm personally going to hold my remaining high tokens further, since I don't see any point in selling them at this point anymore, even though I'll likely just have to declare them as a total loss eventually. But that's it from my side for today. Let me know what you think of HIGH's progress or lack thereof, and as always, feel free to ask any questions you might have in the comments down below, or even better, use the link in the video description below to join our community on Discord and discuss HIGH and other projects with me and the community there. Thanks for watching, see you in one of my other videos. Till then, bye bye!